All right, then. So, welcome to the Most Valuable Player podcast. My name is B-Man. I'm here with Sosa, and we are back.
MVP podcast is back.
It's been a minute. Off
Yo.
season was long.
Long as hell,
Long
man.
as hell. But we're here now. How are you doing?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. I can't wait to get started, man.
Yeah, let's just get straight into it.
Come on, let's
now,
go.
best place to start is probably all the signings that have been happening over the last few months. Some good, some bad. We'll discuss as much as time will allow us.
Yeah.
I think the best place to start is what were your favorite signings? I think that's what's most important to me.
I think as far as favourites, like he wasn't the best signing, but the one that made the most sense to me was Maguire.
Okay.
Maguire going to
Also-
Man United because he just fits. Like everything that they needed just fits. Like he's there, he's tall, head the ball out. He's like he's just exactly what Man United needed. And I'm pretty sure you can appreciate like looking at the team sheet, seeing Phil Jones, Chris Smalling, like now they're not even on the team sheet. Like I don't think they're even in the starting.
Not even on the bench.
Not even on the bench
for the most part. I think that's a good sign for Man United because for the most part, their concerns have always been at the back. I mean, there's no point in having a world-class goalkeeper if you can't even have anyone protecting him in front.
Look at the signings they made before. Like they got Pogba and they got Zlatan, Lukaku, Sanchez. They did sign Eric Bailly and Lindelof.
Yeah.
They've done all right. Maybe not so much Bailly,
yeah.
but Lindelof's done all right. That's earned himself in our first team place. But mainly it's always been strikers or attackers, offensive players. Now they've actually decided to spend money. There was a time I think they were supposed to sign or they were intending to sign, was it Alderweireld?
They were, yeah, and that didn't pan out.
But at least they've got someone, and he fits. Like he actually fits.
I think in terms of my United signings, I think I'm a bit higher on Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, he's good.
I think he had brilliant season last year. He's young, hefty price, but I think in this market, I don't think Man United could ever get away with signing any player for the minimum amount. I think there's always like, okay, if the player's worth 20 million, let's slap another 20 on top because we're sure that Man United.
Kyle Walker was 50 million.
Yeah, but I think for Man City's case, one, he worked out perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, to be fair, he's an English international by then.
Yeah, and two, they needed that to balance out the number of English players that they had on the squad. So I think that's good. I think the funny thing with Man United is that it's not so much about who they signed, it's about who they sold. And selling Lukaku was a big factor. I think just it's a bit of a shame that they didn't really put that money towards something else, because we've been complaining, or Man United fans have been complaining about the defence for years now. So now we fixed that, got cash in, and they didn't fix the next problem, which is the players in the middle.
Well, now you've got a strike rotation that actually can get time now. Guys like, you know what, one of my favourite players at Man United is Martial.
Okay.
I think Martial is a wicked player.
Lazy.
You can say he's lazy.
No, he's lazy.
But when he turns up, he just looks wicked.
He does.
But yeah, I think you're right about that. I think you're right. Lukaku's one of those guys where he didn't fit in their system.
No.
Like he always used to go out wide, get the ball in, and then cut onto his left. He couldn't do that at Man United. Like they wanted him like Zlatan did, just play down the middle, get the ball, hold it up, either pass it around or turn and shoot. He didn't really do that because his first touch kind of let him down.
I see what you mean.
But yeah, I think he'll do well at Inter.
We'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see.
My
Who's yours?
My signing of the summer, anyway, and hopefully it pans out, is Ndombele.
Signing of the summer.
Signing of the summer for any Premier League team. If we're going out, then obviously I think
that's high praise. I think he's a good player.
I think he's an amazing player, and I think he's the type of player that a lot of other teams could have done with as well. He will make Tottenham just that much better. And going from not being able to sign players to then have the business that Tottenham had, which is they got Ndombele, they signed Lo Celso, got rid of Kieran Trippier.
That was a weird one. I didn't believe that was true. I was looking at my Twitter like, yo, he's gone to Atletico. Nah, until he was wearing an Atletico shirt, I was like, right, this guy went to Atletico, man.
Yeah.
Like it was.
I don't know how that's going to work out. All the best to him. I think he's a fantastic fullback, but I think Premier League was home for him. I don't know what you could.
It's good that he's travelled abroad and he's because this is his chance to fight for an England spot now. True. I think if he was staying at the Premier League, there'd have been too much attention on him, and at least now he can actually play his game and refine his game, get better.
True. Let me talk to you about another signing that I thought I really liked.
Go on then.
Maybe not so just that single signing. I think the team as a whole has done some absolutely fantastic signings, and that's Pepe for Arsenal.
Pepe's a good signing. Go on, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say he might not come onto the scene and just take everything over. But I think if Arsenal fans are just a little bit patient with him, I can see so many qualities in him. He could score goals, scored plenty of them in Ligue 1.
Yeah,
although that's not the best indicator for any player playing in the Premier League, but I don't see why he cannot be on the same level as Mane.
Yeah, he is a talent, and no doubt about it, this guy's going to come good. I think this year is like a transition, like you said, like he's just going to ease himself in, because it's not just him coming to the Premier League playing, it's about him moving to England, setting up a new life, because he's a young guy, he's got to do that. The guy at Arsenal that I liked, their signing that they made, obviously apart from my boy David Luiz, because that's my boy, but the one player that I liked of theirs was Ceballos.
Madrid player.
That guy, the former Madrid guy, he had techers. When I saw him against that game the other day, he was just holding up the ball, and like anytime that someone put a foot in, he just literally danced around them. That guy, I know Arsenal's typically always had a bunch of midfielders, like attacking midfielders.
A lot of them.
And like sometimes it doesn't make sense for them to have that many, especially that have Guendouzi, Torreira. Who else they got? They got Ozil. They got a bear of them, and like they've always needed someone that's a bit more gritty.
I don't think they're the place to compare, because I don't think they are the same in any sense. But they've always had that type of player.
They have
in their team. They've always had it. They've had it in abundance.
Yes.
So I don't think that is. I know he looks good, but I don't think that's necessarily a signing that Arsenal have been waiting for all these years.
Definitely not.
So they had bigger problems. Xhaka is a bigger problem. I think that's the part of the midfield that they should have fixed. But there's nothing wrong with signing a player of his stature.
The signing that made the most sense for them, even though it pains me, was David Luiz, man. Because the fact that they lost Lauren Koscielny.
I think it's terrible. I'm sorry.
But the fact that they got him for 8 million.
I still think it's terrible. Because they signed him to actually play him as a starting player.
He's a starting player.
Yeah, I know. The thing,
would you not have him at Man United?
I would not have him at Man United. No, I'll tell you exactly why.
Okay.
One, although he adds a lot of character and he adds a lot of passion to the game, the guy's concentration levels is on 0. He switches off so much, and a lot of the times, and I'm talking to a Chelsea fan here, he's a liability.
You know what? I get where you're coming from. There's always got to be another person with him, and if that person's semi-competent, he's going to look amazing.
Yeah, but the fact that he needs someone competent next to him shows that really that's not the type of player Arsenal should be signing, considering that their aspirations is.
Oh, they've got decent players around him, and it's not just the fact that he's. What I'm saying is like further forward.
Okay.
But it's not just the fact that he's decent at defending.
Yeah.
It's just that he's that good on the ball. He's probably got the most not assists, but like 4 passes as a defender in the Premier League. There's not many defenders that actually.
But what does that stat tell you? That he passes forward and then what?
Well, no, it's not just
That's not what you want him to do.
It's more a case of creating chances, and like to have a defender be able to do that.
But the funny thing is, him passing forward is a lot of the times where mistakes happen.
Anyways, I want to ask you though, what was your most interesting signing?
I would go with Moise Kean for Everton.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I think a part of me is just rooting for him to do well, considering everything he had to go through in Italy.
Yeah.
Which surprises me even up to this day that there are players that are accepting that in the Italian league. I'm surprised that Koulibaly is still there, considering that he is probably a top 5 defender in the whole world.
But yeah, I get where you're coming from.
But do you know what I mean? But a small part of me just hopes that he blows up. I think at Juventus he showed that he can get the goals.
Yeah.
That's something that Everton needed.
I'll tell you what, that is a nice touch what Everton did. Did you see the press conference?
No.
So at the press conference, like obviously they do the sign-in and he's got his jersey up. They had his mum with him, and one of the guys is like, look, this is for you, and got another jersey and it says Keane Mama on the back,
No way.
and like they both stood next to each other.
That's how you get to Africans. Let's be honest.
It'd be nice with
to get
the mum, yeah,
to get to an African man's heart, you go to the
Definitely.
mother, man. That's where all the love is. But that's a surprising signing for me. What about yourself?
I just had one in my head now. Who is it now?
Maybe not a surprise signing. I called it a surprise signing. A signing that you liked.
The signing that I was thinking of, I just slipped my mind, man. We were just talking about him just a second ago before the podcast started. It completely slipped my mind.
That's good. How about we talk about?
We'll move on. We'll move on.
How about some terrible transfers? Because there's business and then there's business, or then there's business. Okay, Arsenal did business.
Arsenal did
by
business.
getting rid of Iwobi.
Arsenal did business.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Arsenal fans were willing to give up Iwobi.
They were
plus money to anyone that would be willing to take him. I never, in my mind, did I think that a team would come and offer him more than 20 million. Never mind 35.
They would have took a bag of crisps for him, man, or chips, we say. But like, it's crazy that he managed to, like, he broke into the starting lineup because they needed depth in the team. They didn't have anyone for rotation, and then he all of a sudden just started getting more game time, and it was the case of, well, he's in the squad now. We'll just keep playing him. He reminds me, I've probably already mentioned this, he reminds me a bit like Theo Walcott. Not in the sense of the hype, because Theo Walcott had a
insane at the age of 16.
Like he had a bar set super high for him because he was like the protege of like Thierry Henry. And like he didn't fulfill that promise. Yeah. And then he ended up going to Everton. But like Iwobi's like, he didn't have that pressure on him, but yet he still kind of went on that same trajectory where he just did all right and like kind of just never got past all right.
No.
Like he's just been like, I don't want to say he's average because he's a footballer, so he's got talent on him.
I'd love to see the scouting report that Everton had on him. I mean, from my perspective, when I sat there and watched him, and if people disagree, that's fine. But he would get into absolutely fantastic positions all the time, and I think his movement is quite good. But then once he gets the ball, what does he do? He does absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Doesn't know where to go, doesn't know whether he should cross, pass,
it's like he
shoot,
gets trapped
run.
in the corner.
Exactly. So I would love to see just why they thought in their heads, okay, do you know what? We've got 35 million to spend. Pull a name out of the hat. Iwobi. Yes, 35 million right now. Arsenal must have been laughing when they got that phone call from Everton, thinking,
to be fair,
million?
like
35 million? Oh, okay, we will put him in a box and we will deliver him to you express delivery. Why the money?
They had that Lookman on their team.
Yeah, but they got rid of him.
And then they got rid of him.
Yeah.
Which was like, okay. And then they just replaced him with a guy that's a few more years older than him. I would have kept Lookman, even though I think it was a case of there was about a bit of friction in the team, wasn't there? Yeah.
That's strange. But you know what? There's some other signings that I thought was like, well, how did that escape some of the bigger teams? So one signing that caught me, and I really wanted him for Man United, coming from a Man United fan, is Yuri Tielemans.
Yeah.
He looks like he belongs in the Premier League, and for Leicester to sign him, 35 million was it?
Yeah, 35.
Same price as Iwobi. That is a steal.
It's crazy what the transfer window can do to some teams, man.
That's what I'm saying.
And like, do you reckon if he was still at Monaco that he would have just gone to Leicester like that?
I don't know. I don't even know how it happened. Kudos to them to be able to sign a player.
There must have been something behind, like.
Yeah, maybe they had some deal beforehand with the loan that they had in place where they could have signed him.
I remember now which one of the teams which was weird. It wasn't the because I can't remember the name off the top of my head. It was the Newcastle striker. That's what I was trying to figure out. It's just did you hear about the story about the Newcastle signing?
No.
So obviously about the story about the Saudi sheikh or the Emirati guy
tried to
buy him, and then apparently that happened. So they were going to move on from Rafa Benitez because they thought that this new owner was going to have new management. So they were thinking, oh, okay, we're going to get Jose Mourinho, we're going to get a big boy like manager, and then that never happened. And then Mike Ashley's like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for life. And then there's a case
of their life.
Like Rafa's gone, Mike Ashley's still there. And then before Steve Bruce signed, it's like, we're going to spend money, and it's 40 million on a striker. And then when he arrived, Steve Bruce obviously just became announced as manager. And I'll never forget the video, he's just there like, oh, you're a big guy. Oh, yeah, you know what, you're really strong. And it's literally like for like 3 minutes just straight, just like touching him, like patting him on the head and like this is like, what are you doing, man?
It's a grown man you're touching.
He's not a piece of meat.
Okay.
That was the strangest one as far as strange goes. Like, that was like, they got rid of Rafa, they spent money, and then they brought in the manager. Like, why didn't you give Rafa this money? Like, or if you weren't gonna, keep Rafa, at least wait till Steve Bruce comes in
so that he can sign his own players.
Or at least announce it after Steve Bruce arrives, and it's like, this is Steve Bruce's signing. So at least the guy's like, okay,
true.
I'm playing for Steve, whereas he's there before Steve.
So he doesn't even know what's going on. But let's take a break there, and then we're gonna come back in a moment. So we're at the start of the new season. Pretty much most of the teams in the league now have played 2 games already.
Yeah.
But I think this is like, it's a tradition for everyone to try and guess who's going to be where. We don't have time to go through all 30 teams, but
yes,
20 teams. That's the basketball in me coming out. the top 20 teams.
20
but
teams.
let's just talk about the top 6 for now.
Okay.
Who do you think is going to finish top 6?
I mentioned this to you. I think this is a setup for me because I'm a Chelsea fan. But I'm going to name you my top 6.
Go for it.
So here it goes. So, well, you know what? We'll go from... Should we go in reverse order or should we go from the top down?
Top down.
Top down. So
I think the top is... I think it gets obvious. I think
sure.
beyond as we go.
I think we can agree. We've got Man City at the top. Okay. And as far as 2 and 3, I'm not going to surprise people. Maybe it's a surprise. I'm going to give Tottenham the number 2 spot.
Okay.
And then number 3, I'm giving it to Liverpool.
Okay.
So that's my top 3 rounded out. As far as the next 3, I think Tottenham's making the top 4.
Okay.
Next, I've got Man United, and I couldn't do it. I had to put Chelsea in there.
You got Tottenham in there twice.
Oh no, wait. Did I say Arsenal? Sorry, 4. Yeah, Man United, 5. Chelsea, 6.
Chelsea, 6. Okay. Run me by why. So,
as far as it's pretty obvious regarding why Man City is number 1. I put Tottenham number 2 because of the moves that they made. Like last season, they made 0 moves.
Sure.
They made 0 moves, and the only reason why they dropped down to 4th was because that their players just got super tired and they're focusing on in Champions League football. If they had backups, which they've now signed decent players now, they have a chance of not only challenging but taking Man City all the way. Okay. That's why I got them 2nd, and it's probably the same reason why I've got Liverpool 3rd. Like, they've not really made any big moves, and the only real big move that they made was Adrian. And
I don't think you can consider that a big move.
He's already starting the team now.
That's by default.
If he wasn't there, they would have had some 3rd choice keeper that was playing. Like, he didn't even play a minute of pre-season. So the fact that they got him is just is lucky on them. But it's crazy that last season they didn't get injured. Knock on wood, they don't get injured this season because we want to see that. But they really lack depth in their squad. Like, when you're looking at the team and you think to yourself, they've got Van Dijk. Obviously, they've got Matic next to him. Not Matic, Matip next to him. They got Lovren. Have they still got Lovren?
They do.
He's knocking around somewhere.
Yeah.
And then who's after that?
Joe Gomez. And he comes before.
Joe Gomez.
Both of them.
Joe Gomez.
Matip and
again, he's
Lovren.
His fitness is a concern, but you're right. He'll probably will start. I think I only said Matip because he started in a game before, he was starting in the Super Cup. But as far as like the rest of the team, their front 3, as far as Mane, Salah, and Firmino, if one of them goes, who are they looking at? Xhaka?
Well, they've got Origi. Well, it's okay. It's not bad. It's okay.
They need guys to back them up. But then going further down on that list, who we're looking at? I mentioned Tottenham not Tottenham. Arsenal at 4th.
Yeah.
I put Arsenal because to me it's like top 3, next 3.
Yeah.
And I put Arsenal as far as the lower 3 on top because of the moves they've made really set them up to play better football and become more powerful and more stronger in the league. And again, with Man United making their moves, like we all knew that they needed to fix up their defense, and they did. And I couldn't leave my boys Chelsea out of this list, man. I just couldn't.
You couldn't.
I couldn't. Like, I wouldn't.
Your heart wouldn't let you.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. Like we could lose N'Golo Kante, and we can lose like another like 3 or 4 players, and I'd still have faith in them.
Yeah, I think N'Golo Kante is the one that's holding the string that's already ripped. Is the only thing that's holding you guys together. In my opinion, anyway.
He's that guy, man.
Let me tell you who I think is going to be my top six.
Go on.
I've got Man City first. I've got Liverpool second. I've got Tottenham third. I've got Man United fourth. I've got Arsenal fifth, and then I've got Everton sixth.
Okay, so we got a few differences there.
Okay, let me tell you why.
Go on.
The funny thing is, after Liverpool went and won the Champions League, I thought, okay, this is it. This is where Liverpool go to the next level. But you don't go to the next level with the exact same formula that you had the season before. I think every team kind of sort of has to add something new.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a little bit. You have to add something new that will give you a slightly different dimension or just an improvement on what you've already had. Man City have been doing that for years. They've won the league twice in a row now. But every year, it seems like, they're the finished product. Last year, we thought they were the finished product. They broke the 100-point barrier. Then how much? They got 97 last year.
I think they got close to the 100 part.
Yeah, but again, they've added 2 players. They've added Rodrigo, which is an absolutely fantastic signing on their part. They've got Cancelo as, I believe, backup on right back.
Yeah.
But look, even though they're champions, and really, had they not made any signings, we still would have sat here saying that they are the favourites to win. But to them, and to Pep Guardiola, clearly, it's not enough because he knows that you need something to keep you going.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, had Liverpool have made the signings, I would put them first because I believe it's so much harder to win a title the year after. Never mind doing it a third year in a row because you sort of kind of lose that little bit of hunger that you had going the season before. You've won it already.
Because I think you're right. I just wanted to interrupt just real quick just because you're right in the sense that the players now in the squad, obviously they've won Champions League and they think that their position is safe. Yeah. Whereas Man City, because they've made new signings,
there's always that little bit of
their
pressure,
position's not safe.
And their squad is so big. Any mishap,
you're out.
Any mishap, you're out. Leroy Sané is out for what?
He's out for the year.
For the year, and they still have plenty of backup in this position. Do you know where I'm coming from? But I still think, even though they didn't make any signings, I still think that they are strong enough to contend and perhaps still win it. But I still have them second because just the lack of signings is not where you want to go.
Because this was our first difference. Why have you put Tottenham below them then?
Purely because Liverpool are just, even without the signings, are just that much better than Tottenham.
Really?
Yeah, I don't even think it's close. Even with Ndombele in the middle. I think what screwed Tottenham over last year was the injuries. And the funny thing is Son hasn't played a game yet this season, so
he's been suspended, hasn't he? Though
has he?
Yeah, he got a red card in the game.
Okay, but either way, he hasn't played. So again, he's gonna add just that little bit more to what they have. But I just don't think that they have the energy that Liverpool are going to bring every season. Throughout the whole season and every game. I just think Liverpool, even without the signings, are just a little bit better. And I just want to point out that you'll hear some noise in the background. That's entirely not our fault. This place has just got so many people coming in and out. So you might hear the door bang a few times, or you might even hear some people in the background. We're just apologizing in advance, but we're just going to power through towards the end of the podcast.
Another thing that we differed on, your fourth place. Who did you have at 4? I
have Man United.
So you got Man United getting a Champions League spot over Arsenal.
Do. But let me tell you why I've got Man United in the top 4. When Man United play some of the bigger teams, they're always a threat regardless. The issue was, and I don't know if that's ever been a trend or not, but last season they were conceding too many goals to lesser teams. That was their undoing. That they had a terrible defense. The fact that we fixed that completely will add points to what we already had in last season. I think we're going to finish with more points this season than we did last season. Purely based on the fact that our defense is just that much stronger this year. And just purely based on that alone, where we're not losing to a lot of these lesser teams, is what I think is going to propel them just a little bit further. And I don't think Arsenal is just a finished product just yet, although both the strikers are looking absolutely tremendous right now.
Yeah, Arsenal strikers are on fire. Well, here's the thing about Man United. You're right in the sense that they fixed where they needed to be. I feel like there's still more work to be done for that team.
100%.
And I think that Arsenal just they have, if they get it right,
Mhm.
they will hit to a point where they'll be a team that is just rivaling like Liverpool and Man United or Man City
with changes,
with changes, but they're just not there yet,
Mm.
and it'll probably take another year for them to get there.
Yeah. I just think Man United have, I think, just that little bit of extra that they were lacking last year. If they just stop conceding those silly goals that they were conceding last year, I think they're just that little bit better off.
So you had Arsenal 5th.
Arsenal 5th, and I've got Everton 6th.
So then let's hear the disrespect about Chelsea then, and taking
Okay.
Everton. Let's hear it.
But do you know what's funny about Chelsea is although they are banned from making signings,
Mm.
they've loaned out so many players that really
Yeah, the guys that come back in.
the players that have come back in are like new signings, like your Kurt Zuma, like your Abraham, and they got the Pulisic deal done early. Who I didn't mention him earlier in the transfers, but I 100% adore him in the way that he plays.
He's a good player.
But I just think that as a whole season, they just don't have the it factor anymore. I think with Hazard there, although he never performed every single game, he was the X factor in every single game. Why? It's because even if he's terrible, the team has to adjust their tactics based on him. Whether it means having the fullback and the winger double up on him, or whenever he has the ball, 3/4 players gravitate towards him, and he was good enough, world class enough to then pick a pass to a player that then is completely open, that can then spread it to the other side or find a gap somewhere.
Yeah.
One way or another, even if he's not directly involved, Hazard has had that much of an impact on games that sometimes he just didn't even need to perform. He just needed to make sure that attention was focused on him. This year, they don't have that anymore. They've got no one to take any pressure. So now teams can just sit up normally and attack however they please, defend however they please, and just stick to their own game plan.
Well,
I think that's going to be the undoing. And like I said, it's just Kante that is holding you guys up right now, because Kante is unbelievable.